Factoring Type 1 Trinomials, Part 2. On number 11, we have n squared minus n minus 56. We're going to take the negative 56 off to the side. And again, that's only because this is already in standard form. And we're going to write down all the factors. 1 and 56, 2 and 28, 4 and 14, 7 and 8. Okay, and you can go through the process of using your calculator. Once you get two numbers that have no space between them, or really nothing in between them will factor into it, you know you're finished. Now, we need to use those factors to come up with a negative 1n. The only two numbers that can make that happen are the 7 and the 8. I'd need the 7 to be positive and the 8 to be negative for them to add up to a negative 1n. See, this is actually a negative 1. Now, once that happens, verify 7 times negative 8 is negative 56. Now, open up your two parentheses. Factors of n squared are n and n, and I'm going to use a positive 7 and a negative 8. Don't overthink it. It really is this nice. These type 1 trinomials should be pretty quick. Let's continue. For 8, factors of 8, 1 and 7, 2 and 4. I need to somehow make a negative 6b out of those factors. These are the only two factors that can make that happen. For them to add up to a negative 6b, they both have to be negative. And negative 2 times negative 4 still multiply out to be this positive 8 that we started with. So build your two parentheses. Factors of b squared go in the first positions, and then we use a negative 2 and a negative 4. And as was illustrated in the first video, you can check your work at any time. Now, once we get to number 15, you're going to always, as we mentioned when we did greatest common factor, that actually should be the very first step in every factoring problem that we do. So if you have a number out in front of n squared, it might be a type 2 trinomial, but it might be a type 1. And the way we check is what happens if we factor out the 2. This is going to leave behind an n squared, a positive 3n, and a minus 54. Okay, so every factor, every term had a 2 in common, and it did leave behind a type 1 trinomial. So we're going to do the same thing we were doing before with the negative 54. Negative 54 is 1 times 54, 2 times 27, 3 times 18, 4 doesn't go into it, 5 doesn't, 6 and 9. Now, I'm going to need a 3 to happen, a 3n, so I'm going to use the 6 and the 9. In order for those two numbers to add up to a positive 3, I need the 9 to be positive and the 6 to be negative. They add up to a positive 3n. Now, open up your two parentheses. Factors of n squared are n and n. And I'm going to use a negative 6 and a positive 9. Not quite finished though. This 2 also is part of our final answer. Looks like the same thing is happening on number 17. We're going to start off by factoring out the 2. That's going to leave behind a k squared plus 11k plus 30. Looks like a type 1. Let's try it. The 30 factors into 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6. I need the middle term of 11k to happen from these factors that we just created. The only way that I can get a positive 11k is to add a positive 5 and a positive 6 together. And those two numbers still multiply out to be a positive 30. So you're going to build your two parentheses factors, k, plus 5, and plus 6. And you're going to bring the 2 down. Let's keep going. And again, if you need to, pause the video at any time and, slow me down. I've got to get through the video, but if I didn't, I would certainly go slower. 1 and 10 and 2 and 5 are factors of 10. To make that 11p happen, I'm going to use the 1 and 10. To make them add up to a positive 11, they've both got to be positive. That's going to give me the 11p in the middle term. So we have p squared. I'm sorry, that's not, I didn't mean to write that. We're going to open up our two parentheses factors in the lead term. P squared factors into p and p. And for factors of 10, we're going to use a plus 1 and a plus 10. And again, you can check any of these by simply multiplying right back through again. Let's do one more. Factor out the 2. This is going to leave behind a p squared plus p minus 2. Factors of negative 2 are 1 and 2, and that's it. In order for them to add up to a positive p, I'm going to use these two factors. That one will be negative, this one will be positive. As long as you can make that number up, it should still probably be possible. Negative 1 times 2 still multiply out to be negative 2, and they do add up to this positive 1p that I need to happen in the middle. So you're going to open up your two parentheses factors. Factors of p squared are going to give us our lead terms of p and p. And then I'm going to use a negative 1 and a positive 2. And don't forget to bring down that extra 2 that you factored out. I'll see you in the next video.